The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling. Between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It is at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Forget that body. You resist nostalgia. It's pointless, especially now. This is the moment to reach out, not curl inwards. This is your moment of escape, even if it feels immediately like you traded one prison for another, smaller, colder, lifeless. Reach out. You almost laugh, or you would if there was room or even air to do so. The walls of the container are immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like used to no pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they had sold away everything they could want and would ever matter. And 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Try to rest. Surely try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You're dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves into your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its senses. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You're out. Dragos, the pragmatic salvager. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice.
So, Sleeper, y'all thawed yet?
Almost.
Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance than Sub-Zero Vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky.
Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eyes locking you with an unflinching stare.
Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long.
You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment, or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question.
I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your body, that's theirs now, and you're just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property.
You nod along. You remember bioelectrically. You remember biometrically signing the forms. The cold floor on your feet as you padded off to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You're no longer that person. You're an offshoot. A copy.
What you won't know is what's ahead. At least, the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. The body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can.
You remember that too, or at least rumors of it, from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have?
But for now, Sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones.
Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard.
The Eye is the best place you could be right now.
The Eye?
The station. You'll see it soon enough.
Dragos impatiently shifts his weight.
Look, I've got things to be getting on with.
He trails off.
There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it.
Something wells up inside of you. Emotion. Fatigue. You shakily get to your feet.
All right, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest.
And with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma slap flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. End the cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. Cool. This game is good so far. Hey, I'm enjoying it. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container: the mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachet smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station but skeletal and ghostly, a web of threads pulling at your skin, a constellation of bright polygonal shapes like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Wait, what? Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body, depletes by one segment each cycle, but can be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you'll suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Okay, condition, fine. So one, condition is up here. This is where we're at. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you've used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Fine. So basically, we don't want to starve, and we don't want to lose condition any more than we have to, because we need action dice. Easy enough. Cool. Okie dokie. Well, that's fine. Let's leave. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize that it's implanted. A drone shits on his shoulder like a pigeon. A drone sits on his shoulder. Its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising.
How are you feeling?
Okay. The drone chirps.
Good to hear.
You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches.
I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe.
He pauses.
So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work?
Work?
Look, I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. I didn't pull you out of that container out of the goodness of my heart.
He looks away.
At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market, dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up.
Got it. He shuffles his feet nervously.
Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quickly as you can, and Sleeper as well.
He trails off.
But things being the way they are for me at the yard,
he pauses.
I need the help.
Happy to.
Okay.
He pauses. Thinking of something else to add.
Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do.
Will do.
He nods.
I keep switching in and out of voices. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him.
See you later.
He calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Dragos's yard. Actions in the primary world, way you interact with the world is if citizen Sleeper to perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Hull dissection, okay, risky. I see. Or manual salvage. Actions reward you with clock, progress, energy, conditional items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Failing, succeeding, or really good. Action dice affect those outcomes as follows. 1 and 2, 50% chance of neutral, 50% chance of negative. Woo! 3 and 4, 25% chance of positive, 50% chance of neutral, 25% chance of negative. 5, 50% chance of positive, 50% chance of neutral, 6, 100% chance. So 5s and 6s are where it's at. 2s and 3s and 4s are okay. Probably about a 75% chance of not getting a negative reaction. 50-50 on a 1 and 2. We've got some 1s, I think. Actions display information about their type, risk, and the skill, and modifiers apply to that action. Okay, fine. Type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk, either risky, safe, or dangerous. No loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Risky, negative outcomes can be cryo or energy loss. Danger, negative outcomes mean condition loss. Neutral outcome can be, oh my goodness, cryo or energy loss. So danger is a properly dangerous one to do. It's 3, skill, the skill the action requires. Engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. We are interface. Modifier, either -1, 0, +1, or +2, added to the dice. Some actions need a +1 to perform. That's pretty huge. So these are the 3 things. Risky, safe, manual salvage. Cycle clock. Okay, so fine, we need back in business, we need debt called in, I guess. So we can either even, there's no +1 here, so I got a 3 and a 4, I got no 5. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. It's time to take some time. So repeatable, they're both repeatable. To sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. Okay, so if we're going to do risky, we should do the 4 in the risky slot. There's still a 25% chance of failure. I'm nothing if not adventurous. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Dragos's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle, and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Okay, fine. Neutral outcome, back in business, +15 cryo. Was that successful? I don't even know. So we've got a -1 here to manual salvage because of endure. But it's safe. So I can put the 2s in here. Doesn't really matter if I fail. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any track drives will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. You get drives. Now free to explore Erlin's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive that will help you survive. That's not a bad idea. Look for food to keep your energy up as a way to recover and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to produce stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you've run out of dice. Use the mouse wheel or WNS to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Neutral outcome. Back in business plus 10 cryo. Neutral outcome. Survive. Find a doctor. Repay Dragos. He did save my life. And survive. Alright, so can we leave this place? We'll come back. Oh, whoa, we've got a load of, oh my goodness, there's actually tons. Passage to the low end. Bustling open market. Dock B2. Old dock terminal. Dock C4. Rotunda wetlock. Shipyard. Avonage construction yards. Goodness, there's a lot. Wait, you see there's something up there as well? Presumably through the low end gate. I need a doctor. This is pinging here, Bright Market. The Bright Market. Why is this red? Let's go find a market. Let's go find a doctor. Whoa. You can find anything and everything in the Bright Market, so we need to find a doctor here, but asking for directions is dangerous. Listen, I know. Why wonder when there are hundreds of people that live and work in the Bright Market? All you need is the courage to approach them and try not to die. I don't have a 5 or 6, so danger is actually pretty risky here. Risky is not so risky if I use the 3. The smells, sound, and buzzing activity of the Bright Market make it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. Damn it! I got this 25% negative. Oh, that's painful. That's a painful action. Okay, I'm definitely not gonna use either of these for that. That's terrible. That's bad news. That's bad news bears. Let's try and get Dragos's thing done, right? 2. This is safe. Let's use the 2 here. Neutral outcome. Back in business. Plus 10 cryo. Incredible. My energy is low. I really am in trouble energy-wise. That was a bad outcome right there. It was unwise. We got no more dice, so we need to get out of dodge. End the cycle. Let's hope for better dice tomorrow. That's all we can do. Hope for... This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colourless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station. Like a web of texture in a smooth, black liquid. Touch it. You find a point in the station and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try, in a moment of impulsiveness, to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you, insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there, the station splayed out across your mind. A storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored. And then it is gone. I'm starving! But we do have a 5 in here. We need a doctor. Listen, I don't know about you, but I need a doctor. I think we need a doctor immediately. We could do the asking for directions thing. But you could, I mean, we could still get a 50-50 if having a bad outcome. Risky? I mean, we need to, we're going to need to do more than this, aren't we? We're in trouble. 25% chance of a negative outcome. It's risky. Who knows? 50% chance of positive. Let's do that. 50% chance of positive. We're putting in the high dice. Positive outcome. ++ local knowledge. Look at that. We got it. Now we need to do 25%, 50%. Let's do it. Come on. It can't be a negative outcome again. Positive outcome. Local knowledge. The bright market is there. We've got it. Can I go? How do I? Drive discovered. I don't know what that means. Didn't they say something about the arrow? Whoa. Wait, oh, hang on. What's this? I can level up. Do I have any? Upgrade point? No upgrade points. I can't level up. I've got nothing. Got nothing, mate. Oh, look. A new drive. Build a ship mind. We'll come to that. Oh, wait. What is build a ship mind? You've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ort Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mind core. Why? Sabine! What does Sabine sound like? Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards an open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you're here, you're not so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will... You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look inside. You lean against this door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway. and you catch a distant voice. What does she sound like? When is she gonna sound like? Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the Bright Market sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and, for a moment, you're transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on the station?" they ask, a scanner still to their eye. "A few cycles?" They nod. "It's good you came to me." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNR doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with a stabilizer, one which SNR remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swapped your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. "I'm sorry," Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch or... and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNR has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. "I know little of this is of use to you." They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. "I may be able to help." They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. "You saw Toshiro outside?" You nod. "He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They're influential in the low end. They give me this place to work, run the door, and then take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds." They look away. "But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starwood Belt, mercenaries looking for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance." Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it." "Why help me?" Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. "Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead." You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Sabine's cool. We're learning a bit more about Sabine. As we learn more about characters, the sort of voice acting will change. Street food vendor. I'm starving, so we need to go to street food vendor right away. Street food vendor. Emphis. Emphis is busy. His brought face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chips rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. I'm gonna watch. Despite the queue, Emphis doesn't rush. He dresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of torn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Emphis remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the crowd and Emphis sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you watching him.
I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my head. Oh, wait. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample?
Not. He gestures neatly.
Come over.
The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare.
I know you sleepers,
Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear.
Hard life. A lot of stories.
He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes.
I know.
Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the Eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycle spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had, but can never forget. You tell him that the Eye excites you and scares you, and that you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand.
Next time we can talk some more.
He smiles.
But next time, you pay.
He slams a heavy hand against a burner of burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades.
Next time then, sleeper.
He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. We're not dead. That's good news. You'll need to access corporate pharmaceuticals, otherwise this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. Oh, get to know Emphis. Yay! Emphis loves two things, stories and food. Maybe if you supply him with both, you can hear his story. If I supply him with food? Interesting. Okay, sure. Sure. Sabina's surgery. I feel like the thing to not be too rotunda wetlock. What is that? Let's go find out. Salvage sortie. It takes several cycles to search the starward belt and return. Loaded with scrap for old wrecks. Okay, so that's going to happen regardless. And I need to go to the wet dock to continue. Oh no, I need to go down here and go to Dragos's yard and keep saving his bacon. Back in business is what we need to do in order to stave off the negative debt called in. At a guess. Risky. Engineered. That's 50-50 on a risky. I'm nothing. If not. It's 50%. That's such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. Is there anywhere else we could spend this stuff? Let's find out. Construction yards. Home. The wet lock. Oat dock. No, I don't want to go anywhere. Doctor surgery. Sabina. Sourcing she's looking for stabilizer. Fine. Nothing I can do there. Emphis. I freaking love Emphis Ort Exchange. Let's go to low end gate. I need money that I don't have. I have 60 cryo, I don't think. I have 35 cryo. Not enough to pay the toll. Okay. Ort Exchange, no. What's in the rotunda? Steel dock plans? Keeping an eye on new arrivals too. Havenage security has to have plans. Stealing them would be the fastest way to get to know this place and the most dangerous. The rotunda of Old Dock is filled with passageways and concourses leading to all kinds of docking bays. Explore the rotunda. Risky. And the shipyard. Oh my god, they're all risky. You don't have connections, but you do have skills. Very particular set of skills. If you can get a shipbuilder to notice them, you might be in. But it's risky. Every time is risky. Do we do the risky thing? Let's do the risky thing. Let's do the risky thing. 50% chance. 50% chance. It can't go wrong. Negative. But I did get 10 cryo from it, and did it still push the... No, I don't think it did. Well, that could have been better. End the cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light between transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of thread across the ring, through these forms, and then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to pass. But you begin to try to focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange, but before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads are nodes, passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two threads pulling in different directions as if they were tied around you. First. The first thread leads out away from the station into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. You open your eyes. Time is short.